Tequila Seltzer, the #1 hard seltzer in the world and the official hard seltzer of Day Drinking with Dog. Ditch the malt, add tequila. Welcome back, Day Drinking with Dog. Oh, it is another heat box out there today. It is August 1st. I always say July 4th is summer's over, and shit, it's almost over. I got a couple vacations coming up, and then it's back to the real world of the fall, which is actually my favorite month. Today, I have a very special guest on whose birthday I just found out is at midnight tonight. We won't say how old you're going to be. That's
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Mark, Daniel, what's going on, my friend?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for reaching out. I actually said, I don't know if you listened to last week's episode, but at the end, I always say who I got coming next week, and this is God's honest truth. You are literally the most polite, pleasant person I've ever met in my life. You made that mark on me the day I met you at Daniel Street.
Thank you.
And it's not a lie. Like, you were just so kind, and it's just always stuck with me over the years. This is not the first time I've said this about you either.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
It's easy to love you, Jeremy.
Yeah. And it's not a hard thing to do. And unfortunately, a lot of people in this world don't have that decency. I think I have it, not to your degree, but you really are a gentleman and obviously a scholar.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks again for coming. And we're gonna talk music today. We're gonna talk some current events. We're gonna talk some of our beliefs and political views. Maybe, I don't know what we're gonna get into.
Yeah,
but we're both not drinking. We both have responsibilities today, unfortunately. So
it's okay.
Anyway, so welcome, and let's get right into the music side of it. I met you back in, this seems to come up a lot on here, is the Daniel Street days.
Oh, yeah.
And you were in a band called The Limit.
Yes.
Right? That's when I first met you. And I remember that band. You guys were fucking awesome.
We were loud.
You were, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Loud.
Everything was loud in Daniel Street, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a loud place.
It was a special place, too,
yeah.
right?
I miss it to this day. I think that was probably one of the top small music venues in the state, if not the region. I mean, there's some cool spots in New York, but Daniel Street was pretty fucking cool.
There's no doubt, looking back, thinking about the bands that you guys brought in with a Guitar Wolf from Japan. A band came from Japan and played.
Yeah.
And then you had Local Age, which are just 90s icons. I mean, it's amazing what you guys had there.
Dinosaur Jr.
Budo's band.
Yeah.
It's just, it was an experience.
We had Edgar Winter, not Johnny.
It's crazy.
Edgar Winter. We had Tim, the guy from Dave Matthews.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, Tim Reynolds.
Tim Reynolds, yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, just the laundry list of people that came through that place was. And then we did the 80s thing, so we had
Dokken was there. Oh, God, I remember that show, too. Yeah, going there, with those dudes. Yeah, it's crazy to look back and say that was actually happening in Milford. But Milford really is incredibly cool.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes a little bit of sense. We miss it, but it was wonderful.
It was wonderful. And the sound quality there was top-notch. And
John Conine.
Yeah, John Conine. He put it all together.
Incredible talent.
Yeah. And I don't know much about music as far as listening to it, but every musician that kind of walked off that stage was like, wow, that's fucking a really good system. You know?
John knows his stuff, man.
Yeah. So let's start, you're growing up, but you're obviously a guitarist, a vocalist. Mm-hmm. What are some of your inspirations? What got you into music? And you've been doing it a long time.
Yeah. I've been playing music ever since I could remember, really. And it started to click when I was about 16, which is a little bit later. But then at around 16, I was hell-bent on going to Berkeley. So I realized that I had 2 years.
In Boston?
In Boston, yeah. So I realized I had 2 years, basically, to just kick it up and get to where I need to be to get in there. So I knew if I was to go to Berkeley, the chances of being able to make a life in music would increase, would be possible. So really, I think that's where my caffeine addiction started, because I'm about 5-6 cups a day. I just love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy
love
shit.
it. Totally love it. But so really, I'd go to high school. I would work at a Little Caesars. Remember Little Caesars?
Yeah.
So cool. I was in the back.
Yeah.
and then come home and do homework and practice. And every chance I could, I would just practice, and also listening. So I'd listen to vast amounts of it and see how it affected me as well. Because in order to be able to play music or play it to some reasonable degree, you have to be able to listen to it in a certain way. I usually equate that to somebody wanting to be a short story writer or a novelist, is their ability to be able to read the arc of a storyline, right? The same thing applies to musicians, where they have to be able to hear songs in a certain way. So lots of listening and lots of playing. And then thankfully, the Berklee, ambition happened.
Yeah. I know my brother tried to get in there, but he was a drummer, but he couldn't read music. He just drummed off of, and that was I believe, I could be messing this story up, but he'll text me, oh no, you fucked that one up. But I think like he didn't get in because he couldn't read music back then, and that was a requirement to. Well,
B.B. King couldn't read music, and there's a drummer out there named Dennis Chambers who's all self-taught.
Yeah,
he plays with a band called the Brecker Brothers, along with a number of other kind of proggy 70s, or more like 80s now too, 90s fusion stuff that's complex to play, in other words. But he's all self-taught, and what he does is absolutely off the charts. So there's a positive and a negative to being able to read music. Do people have to? No, not at all. It's there's many ways to get to the top of the mountain, if we want to use that.
Yeah. So what years were you there? I don't want to date you here.
That's all right.
You were there in the mid-90s, right?
Yeah, totally. And I don't feel aging old.
So you're Boston in the mid-90s.
Yeah, so 97, 2001.
All right, so late 90s. What were some of the bands, like, I'm trying to think, like, we're almost through the grunge phase that late.
Yeah.
And we're getting more into I call it rap rock, the Limp Bizkits and Korns of the world. And in my world. What was some of the music that inspired you or you listened to back then when you were just a young kid in college? And
so leading up to Berklee, I was listening to a lot of classic rock, blues, and the 90s stuff started to click a little bit, right? Not just entirely yet. I was more gravitating towards like Santana, Zeppelin, Yes, that kind of stuff. But STP, Stone Temple Pilots, is just, they've always connected with me. I've always loved them. So they started to kind of kick in a little bit. And my friend Corey was always on the cutting edge of what was coming out. So every time we would hang out, he'd have new CDs that came out that week.
Yeah.
So he always kind of kept me in check with that. So
those promo ones?
Some of them were.
You remember those?
Yeah.
That the DJs would always get?
Yeah.
So
it was like minimal writing.
Yeah, it was just like it had like they were basically sent to radio stations, and those were the songs they could play. I knew a DJ at the Trumbull Marriott, and I was one of the bar managers, and he used to give me the hard rock one.
Cool.
And I'll never forget when I first heard Stained, Just Go was their first release ever in almost 94, I would think. No, it would be later than that, 96 maybe. I didn't start there till 95. So, but yeah, I remember those little promos, and I used to fucking steal them from them.
And it was like a physical CD.
Yeah, it was a CD. Crazy. It had all the new bands on the list and their new songs, and I would just fucking pop them in my car and
that's good stuff, man. So that stuff stuck around when I was at Berklee, but I wasn't listening to it as much. I did expand on Pearl Jam a lot at Berklee and Soundgarden when I was up there.
Yeah.
But while I was up there, I was just completely immersed in rock for sure, but fusion, jazz, blues. It was a constant. I could probably swear, right?
No, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. It was a constant what the fuck experience every which way you turn.
Yeah.
So I heard everything, and I got exposed to everything, but not only just in bits and pieces. I was flooded with everything. So when I heard somebody play samba, it wasn't like, hey, here's a little bit of samba. It was like, okay, so I'm listening to this for the next 2 hours. I'm going to actually break everything down, and I'm going to probably see some samba bands today, tomorrow, next week. And so it was on all the time, which is great because I like to think I'm still on all the time with that. Now
you're like, who do you equate your guitar style to? I mean, if it's not just one person, like
I take from, it depends on what I'm doing. Because some songs that I write want to have a little bit more of a blues edge to it, while some songs might have a little bit more of a technique drive to it. So the range really varies.
Yeah.
So it could be anything from like a hard rock to a blues to maybe some jazz in there too. So I kind of throw it all in there. But it's got to serve the song though.
Right.
The song is the most important thing.
Right. So you do all the writing?
I do.
Yeah. So your band now is called?
Well, it's just solo. It's
just
me,
solo?
Mark C.
It's
Daniel.
just you?
Yep.
Okay.
And I have a number of musicians that I work with that I'm so deeply thankful for. I just saw one of my roommates from Berkeley this past Sunday, Mark Hickox. He's a remarkable bassist. He just opened up for the Rolling Stones.
Oh, wow.
So we had a good hang in Boston, had a couple of beers. I've been working with him and recording with him for about 7-8 years now. Mickey Curry is also the drummer for Bryan Adams, Hall & Oates, The Cult. He's played with George Harrison, Brian May, so it's members of Queen. So he's been. So I think with Mickey's playing, I mean, you just wait anywhere for 10 minutes, and you're going to hear him playing out with somebody.
Yeah,
that's how many people he's played with and how many recordings he's on, and he's really changed how I write and what I do, because he's allowed me a chance to go ahead and develop as a songwriter, as opposed to just writing guitar-driven songs, which that still happens. It's really expanded a lot larger. And I have the privilege of playing. I say privilege because I've always wanted to play with this one drummer. Arnie Kuzo is the drummer. You know Arnie?
He's at Stonebridge a lot.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's going to be the drummer.
Actually, Arnie did the big banner out in the other room.
Cool.
He did that, yeah.
Yeah, a stellar guy, an incredible drummer. And so he's going to be the drummer for the show coming up August 17th. And this is a fantastic thing to be able to say that I have Todd Grossberg on bass.
That's who I saw today. Post that you guys were opening.
So not only does that warm my heart and soul, I think that somewhere along the way, that is just one of those beautiful things that the universe has to give you. And I accept entirely. And I'm so glad that Todd did say yes, and Arnie says yes, and that Mickey say yes, and Mark says yes, and so
awesome.
Lots of thanks.
So that's August 17th at the
Space
Ball.
Yep, Space Ballroom in
Hamden, Connecticut. And the band you are opening for is none other than Sponge.
Yeah.
That if you don't know Sponge, I'm just gonna play a little clip of Sponge because I think this song everyone's gonna go, oh, that's Sponge.
Yeah.
This was almost like like a college anthem for me because it's 1994, 30 fucking years ago. 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's
that
crazy
song came out, and that's one of those songs too. I feel that it carries through generationally. You know, a lot of I grew up on rock. You know, 80s was the hair bands, 90s was grunge, 2000, like I said, was the Limp Bizkit stuff, and now I listen to Octane and all the new bands out now that I think are just as phenomenal. But for whatever reason, rock doesn't get the accolades it deserves anymore.
By new bands or
by new bands. Okay. Yeah, like I just don't think, who plays rock.
So
like it's classic rock is PLR, 106.9 and 104.1 back in the day used to play what they call modern rock, but like actually hard rock bands today, you got to search them out.
You
almost.
Do. So then is the issue not necessarily with the lack in the market or presence of a market, is the issue potentially maybe the artistry, that maybe perhaps people aren't studying the craft as much as they used to, and what we might have at
I think a lot of it is how it's consumed.
Okay, so market driven.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everything is now, it's still like hip hop, R&B, and country rock or country. I think dominates everything, and pop music obviously, but that can kind of. I just think rock music I'm always like, I love classic rock, but like I would still rather listen to modern rock, like now rock, than classic. I think I just like
you connect with it because it's now.
Yeah, it's now. Okay. And I'm 50, so I think I've always listened to music my whole life. And when we grew up, we got the tapes first, but when the CDs came out, like we would, they would come out Tuesdays at fucking Strawberries, and we'd be down there and waiting for, I don't know who you'd go to see, or go to get, but I would get the new Stained album or the new whatever album, and it came with the graphic art cover, and then the lyrics were in there, and you just, you put on your headphones, you listen to it. Like, I would spend nights. I can't really believe I never really got into playing any music. Like, my fingers were not good enough for a guitar, so.
There's a place for all of us.
Yeah, and I don't have the voice to sing, so I was pretty much shut out.
If you had something to say it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I just, just today's rock, I find, is just, it sits on satellite, and these guys play, they tour, they make money, but there's no Van Halen nowadays. There's no.
Was there ever one before Van Halen, and was there ever one after? Because after Hendrix, you only had Eddie that had the next ripple effect that happened.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. Like, Van Halen may be a far like hill to try to fucking conquer, but. Stone Temple and those guys, granted that was, 90s.
Nobody's ever going to play like those guys.
No.
Because what they brought to the table was so unique and different.
Alice in Chains, bands like that.
Another band.
Yeah.
So if I were to say maybe something that Jerry Cantrell did with Alice in Chains that it's not necessarily derivative but inspired by is that you have, use my proper English here, some hints of Black Sabbath in there.
Yeah.
Some hints.
Yeah.
And some like the gnarly bends. But those harmonies and how the songs are constructed and how they're played, so perhaps maybe those avenues have been explored, and maybe there are some avenues that haven't been that could galvanize rock again to maybe do something. I don't know. And
do you think it's a cyclical thing? Do you think it comes in waves? Because I don't see, like, hip hop, I don't see that going anywhere ever.
Well, it morphs.
It's a cultural thing as well.
Well, it morphs though, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that hip hop from the 90s to the 2000s, 2010s, and 20s, it's so different.
I love how all these guys are fucking morphing with each other, though. I think it's great. Absolutely. The collaborations are awesome.
It has to survive, so it takes on these new characteristics. What rock did is that it hits a wall after a certain point. So we take bands as proper nouns because that's what we know. So let's just talk about a big gorilla here. Let's talk about Led Zeppelin for a minute, right? It's easy to listen to Led Zeppelin and say, that's Led Zeppelin, and take that as a proper noun. But we might be missing everything that happened before Led Zeppelin and what inspired Led Zeppelin to be what they are. But if all we listen to is just Led Zeppelin, I'm talking specifically towards artists that are trying to figure out who they are, perhaps, or maybe get some idea, because it's maybe not a good idea to over-identify yourself. Led Zeppelin was everything: blue-eyed soul, blues, a touch of folk, right? Irish folk specifically. Then they brought in some Delta blues in there as well. All of that became Led Zeppelin. But when we put it in a package and after a few years look at it, it's like its proper noun.
Right.
So now it's easy to say, hey, you know what? I want to play rock and I like Led Zeppelin, so I'm going to sound like fucking Led Zeppelin. Well, no. That's not it. Led Zeppelin didn't wake up every morning and say, let's sound like Led Zeppelin.
Right.
But they may have said, you know what, let's sound like Lead Belly today. Let's try out that Lead Belly groove and see what we have. Well, guess what? 4 guys from England are not going to sound like Lead Belly, are they?
Right.
They're going to do something else with it. There you go. The prism was Led Zeppelin. The influence was whatever inspired them. That might be what's missing in some music today. But then again, I don't know.
Well, like we just mentioned Stone Temple. I think their first album to their second was 2 completely different bands.
100%.
2 completely. Like, I didn't like the second album at first. It took me a while to grow. Like, it grew on me.
It's such a dry mix.
Right. It was insane. I'm like, whoa. Like, these guys are just. There's one super talented, but I just remember that those 2 albums stuck out to me. I'm like, oh, this is really different than, And then as a kid, you just kind of you're not really developed yet in your mind of what you want, and you like familiarity, and that was not familiar to the first album.
Yeah, right.
So I was kind of stunned by it, but then as I realized how good it was, I'm like, wow, these guys really. And then I was so anxious to see their next work. Are they going to go back, revert to album 1 style, or are they going to do a completely third different style?
I had a bit of a reckoning artistically in 2021 with STP. So I find myself watching BattleBots and I get a message on Instagram from what looks like a PR agent, manager PR agent. Emily's somewhere in between there. And she goes, "Hey, Mark, could I have your phone number?" And I said, "Okay." I see what she does. She STP's the one band that she works with. Mm-hmm. So I said, "Of course." She said, "Well, somebody wants to call you." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right, dude." So I told my wife, Claire, I said, "Claire, all right, so somebody wants to call me from Stone Temple Pilots, haha." I said, "I might sleep with my phone on tonight." Literally at 10 p.m., Dean DeLeo calls me, right? And he says, "If you could believe this, thank you for talking about his guitar work on this, what was a very small post that I posted, but apparently, I mean, it was heartfelt because I really do love what they do, and he's just, he's very unique."
Yeah.
And we ended up chatting on the phone for maybe a cool half hour about stuff. I didn't ask him necessarily at that point anyways. I didn't ask him about what he was doing, but we talked about the guys that we loved, Clapton, Jimmy Page, and then we talked about a ridiculous guitar player out of Nashville called Tom Bokovac, which he introduced me to, and I was like, wow, that's a great find. So after that conversation, I found myself going, fuck, Dean's going to be listening to my stuff now. Is it going to sound like me or me sounding like Dean?
Right.
All right. That changed how I saw music right there, because nowhere before 2021 did I ever think that I'd be actually talking to the guy. Right. And actually him listening to my stuff and then having some sort of back and forth about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the hell I was going to do next, but I knew I wasn't going to stay so close to my influences anymore.
Yeah.
Because all of that was a bit of an illusion and was leading me down the wrong path. So anything that you're listening to now, or anything that's been coming out since 2021, is a bit of a different ball game. But that Dean has, I got to thank him entirely for that. And thankfully we still chat every now and again.
And he kind of just did it unintentionally, or you put that idea in your head. I'm like, oh shit, I don't want him to be thinking. I'm like,
yeah, dude, I'm going to send you some of my stuff, man, and and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I hope he doesn't think that riff is too Dean DeLeo,
Right.
But I did tell him, you are one of my guys. I said, you're one of my guys, And so it's like, well, we all got guys, and then we talked about our guys, which is really cool. But that was a turning moment, not just in what I was doing with music, but literally how I was thinking about it, and how we think about these things, and whether it's with a confirmation bias or whether it's with complete open-mindedness, that affects what that potential future might be. And because we kind of infuse it with that intention of either being derivative,
right,
or with something that we don't know. And when Led Zeppelin was blazing the trail, they weren't doing confirmation bias. They didn't know what the hell it was going to sound like.
Yeah.
And people forget that. Van Halen didn't know that either.
Yeah.
And if we were to compare a band like ZZ Top to Van Halen, first three albums, when you listen to Alex Van Halen's grooves, it's basically a ZZ Top groove with Jimmy Beard there, but it's just amped up like a motherfucker, So they're coming from a similar place too, right? With that shuffle. But how it was interpreted was so completely different. So nowhere along the way did Alex Van Halen wake up and say, hey, I'm going to be proper noun Alex Van Halen. Probably said, I don't know what the fuck this is going to sound like, but let's give it a try. Perhaps, maybe, not only in rock, but I think jazz could probably use a little kick in the ass too. Maybe even blues at this point even. Having the open-mindedness of not knowing is where the power comes in. And vulnerability is an important part of it too.
Right. When it comes to rock or all the genres, a lot of the pop music, I don't really get into it, but I feel they just find somebody and they anoint them and they write them their music, and I could be completely wrong, but that's, with a Katy Perry or, a Lady Gaga. I'm not decrying their talent, they're talented, but I just deep dive into a lot of shit, and I just read a lot of shit, and it's just I just feel like these people were produced from the world of music instead of the opposite, where they cut their, they cut their own way to the top and with their talent. I don't know. I mean, that's just the way I look at that kind of music. Where like if you look at rock or jazz, I mean, you have to be extremely talented. A lot of things have to go your way. Like I think you're talented enough to be, you know, like if you got to break here, break there. You know, I agree. You know, Keith Caro, you know, grew up with those guys. And,
Keith is awesome.
And
they had a really special thing going there too.
Live and Trust. Yeah. And I thought, you know, and that kind of showed me, I don't know the business anyway the way you do, but it kind of showed me like how really hard it is.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe it isn't. But I mean, those guys had different issues is probably the reason why they didn't make it. But they were, you know, they were played on ESPN. They were, you know, they had some.
That was market ready, that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was when I first heard it. I was like, well, what else? There's nothing else. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's all complete.
Yeah.
You know, now go ahead and put it through the market.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that it didn't get put through the market.
I mean, do you listen to any pop music? Do you listen to everything? I'm assuming.
Everything.
Yeah.
Name it. I have no prejudice against anything. Particularly if somebody brings me something, which I'm insanely thankful for people bringing me stuff. So this happens on like 7 days a week. People bring me music, and I can't get enough of it. I listen to it with what I think my point of view might be, and if I do that, that kind of kills everything entirely. It's better not to have a point of view or an opinion. Just accept it, and then be there with it in that present moment and see where it goes. Having the person in the room put a little bit of their emotional energy into the room as well.
Yeah.
Makes it human in that, okay, this affected this person this way, so now it's an opportunity to learn on how to connect with people on a deeper level. So, no, I don't have any prejudice against any of that. But I see your point of view on, well, you're listening to so-and-so 17-year-old pretty girl who's, you know, that looks great, didn't write a lick in her life, but a producer's doing this and puts her to a market, right? So then, let me pose this question to you. Let me know what your response is. Is it okay for music to be completely shallow with no meaning whatsoever besides entertainment, like a perhaps popcorn in the movie theater?
Right.
Is that okay?
Is it okay to me, like morally in the music business?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so then let me respond.
Okay.
You just robbed a 13 and 14-year-old girl of her influences that are going to be the song of her summer.
How much does AI scare you in that field? Because I think AI is going to play a big part of music where there's no songwriting. There's no emotion behind the songwriting. It may.
Do you think that
it may hit a chord with a young person, and that's how their life might be going? Whether it's a relationship song or you know, it could. But I'd rather listen to you write a song that's you know, and we're gonna play your song later. You know, actually, I was reading the lyrics, and you know, I have some questions of how you wrote that song. Cool. You know, but I don't know. I don't think. I think when it comes to 13-year-old girls and robbing them of that, I think that they'll just go on to the next thing because their attention spans are so fucking short. I mean, I see Braden. He's 14. Thank God he's at football practice today. His first one ever. He was nervous.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you know, these kids just scroll, and that's it. It's like nonstop. Like he wouldn't listen to a song fucking from front to end. No way.
Okay.
He doesn't really listen to music. Only what pops up on his TikTok.
Okay.
So as far as robbing a 13-year-old girl, I just think they'll go on to the next song.
Okay. What if it's so then? Could
and how do you quantify that? How do you even know if you did? Like, there's no like research behind it. I get what you're saying, but
so then let's just say we eliminate everybody, and there's a lot.
No. I don't mean it like that.
Okay.
I don't want anything eliminated.
Okay.
I just would choose not to listen to something that's generated a factory generated
personally
music.
For you.
Yeah,
okay.
For me. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool.
Because I've grown up on the thing. You listen to what you want. I think music is one of those things where you cannot laugh at me for what I listen to, and I cannot laugh at you for what you listen to.
True statement ever.
It's all personal.
You nailed it with that.
Yeah.
100% nailed it with that. Yeah. Well, whether we know it or not, we always look for something that's relatable.
Yeah.
Right? Totally. Being a songwriter and a musician, I can't
Yeah.
I can't say to myself, this is what I'm doing and this is what I am. Because at that moment, I over-identify what it is that I'm doing, and then I try to make myself a proper noun without knowing the craft, the skill, the history, and then potentially where we are and where we're going with it in the future.
Right.
So, and that's a difficult thing to do. Because the first thing when somebody asks you is, what's your favorite like music or your favorite band, your favorite song?
Yeah.
That's not just a question about what do you like to listen to. The reply somewhere in our back of our mind is usually, my answer is going to lead this person to identify me as something.
Right.
Cool?
Yeah.
Right? That's how personal this shit can get.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how to change that. Don't have an interest in changing that because it's been that way forever. But I know that doing what I do, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't pigeonhole it.
Right.
Yeah.
But like I relate a lot with like some of my favorite bands are Stained and Shinedown. I love.
They changed a lot too.
They have, and obviously Aaron Lewis went country for a while, and
how did that go for him?
He loves doing it more than the rock shows. Okay. I know that personally.
I saw Sully Erna from Godsmack is doing a country song now too.
Is he? Yeah, I haven't seen that.
There's a Better Noise artist, Corey Marks. He's doing something.
They're actually coming to Mohegan. I think I'm going to go to that one.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't listen to country, so I'll never forget this interview I read in one of those music magazines, and they were interviewing Aaron Lewis about moving to country, and then the last line from the reporter was, what do you have to say to your fans of rock, fans of Stained, and he was just like, fuck it, I don't know. This is me.
He likes his weed,
and then
right?
He loves his weed.
So he's probably doesn't give much of a shit about anything.
No, I don't think he does. And he's very political too.
Is he?
Yeah. And I just never listened. Like, he actually had some crossover songs that I used to see him doing when he was still in Stain and he didn't leave. He did solo shows at Mohegan Sun a lot. And I would go, he did like 10 in a row in the Cabaret. It was awesome. It was only like a 500 seat theater.
And it was a solo show?
And it was a solo show. And he did all his, like he's got the ballads and then he had some new songs. There was a song called Massachusetts and all this stuff.
I remember that one.
Yeah. And it was great. But then when he went full country, I'm like, all right, I'm whatever, kind of done. And then they came back to Stained. But then he said last year, he's like, I just love doing the solo shit better because I don't have to worry about three other guys and doing all this crap. Just me and he usually brings like one other guitarist up with him, but it's just me and my tour bus and my wife. And
he's got the sound though, so he's got his dynamics and his sound down to do that. And I get his point of view on that one. Do you think that Stained were, I don't want to say self-plagiarizing, but do you think that Stained really kind of hit a wall with how far they could push their sound up to a point?
I think so. So they just had an album come out. Okay. It's fine.
Is it very derivative of their other sounds?
Yeah. I think they're one of those bands that didn't, they're not an SDP where they could change their style in a heartbeat. They're heavy riffs. They're, screaming.
Yeah, it's a halftime beat and everything. Yeah. Well, but they do it so great.
Right.
And they've done it so well that they're able to put their kids through college and live a comfortable life, right?
Yeah.
And here we are talking about a band that's affected you in such a positive way. So there's nothing negative about that whole experience at all. It seems like they really did a lot of positive things.
They did, and Shinedown was another one for me. Their guitarist, Zach Myers. Right, Zach Myers.
He tours around solo.
He was at Daniel Street.
Yeah, what was that duo? Zach and
I don't know. He was by himself that night because they were going from like New York to Boston.
Oh, cool.
So he just they had 3 days off in between, and Phil got him to come in. And
incredible.
And it was like nobody there because the funny thing about like music and rock is like I'm guilty as sin of it. Is some of my favorite bands, I can't name all the fucking people in it. It's usually the lead singer and then maybe like an Eddie Van Halen or, Johnny Wasaki, who just passed the drummer of Stained. Well, he was the original. But so Shinedown, I remember seeing them in concert, and I'm sure you could attest to this. When you are not the headliner, it's a shame because like the sound, like it's just. I saw Shinedown twice before they became a headliner. And when they became a headliner, holy fuck, what a difference. Like, you get the pyrotechnics, you get the, you're on the front stage, you got everything going. And I remember seeing Incubus, the only time I ever saw them, and they were one of my favorite bands. They opened for Linkin Park up in Mansfield, Mass. And I was just disappointed. Really? And then Linkin Park came out, and the sound is completely different. I don't understand why. I don't know if you've noticed that when you go to concerts. Like,
it's a long, long, long time ago. Not that long. I'm not that old.
Tomorrow you are.
Tomorrow, that's it. Stroke of midnight, become a fucking gremlin, right? So, I used to think that there was like a button, you know, let's get that setup going for the sound. That's not necessary. I've never seen that though. I think that what ends up happening is that somewhere along the way, maybe perhaps the opening band did headline at a certain point. Or something. Incubus, I'm sure did. Smaller
this
venues, right?
This was the outdoor venue. I mean, they weren't going to be above Linkin Park. I mean, that was just.
Of course,
Linkin Park was at their height back then.
Which they're still massive, right? Yeah. So it's you have to be able to adjust how you perform and how you play, specifically with your dynamics. If you are going from a headline act somewhere to actually being the opening act,
right?
And dare I say, you need to play less and maybe not as much as far as loudness goes.
Yeah.
So because there are some opportunities and there is more space for somebody to do more when you're headlining. You don't have that when you're opening. Yeah. So it has to be really a succinct set with just everybody knowing when not to play.
Right.
That's the key. Is
this a true story? You were talking about Led Zeppelin. Now, I've read this in this. I could have it all wrong, but I read that their first show, they obviously opened for somebody, and they were so good that the other band never came on stage, and that was it. And that's
never heard it.
Never heard that. I mean, it could be a complete made-up story.
Well, Zeppelin was interesting, especially in the early days, though, too. And the same's true for anybody in that era. It's they weren't legends the moment they hit the stage, right? They had to do what they had to do, and then eventually, popularity churns into mass popularity. Popularity churns into some more iconography. I'll use that word, and then eventually iconography can turn into legendary status, right? But they didn't hit the stage and become that. A lot of times they really slop through a lot of stuff in those early days. When you check them out, I mean, just like the early Dazed and Confused performances, it's just like, and it's beautiful when I say this. So it's in a superlative sense. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on, but everybody's listening to one another, and they're never going to do it the same way twice. So, and it wasn't clean necessarily either. There was a lot of sound and energy being thrown around stage. So whether that intimidated another band, I don't know. It could have. It could have. Could the other band that was supposed to go on before them got drunk and stoned and couldn't perform? Said that. That's possible,
especially
too.
back then.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Dude, isn't that crazy to think? Like, I can't get enough of thinking about Jim Morrison getting blasted drunk on stage and then going out there and doing that shit.
Right.
It's in my mid-20s, I would romanticize doing that kind of stuff. I look back at it right now, and I'm like, yo, no.
What's crazy too is all these 80s bands, and they're all sober now.
Yeah.
No one drinks anymore. You watch the Motley Crue doc, and these guys are guzzling, handles of Jack Daniels before and after shows. Dude, how do they get out of that era alive?
Yes.
I mean, holy shit, this stuff.
It's big business.
Yeah.
No, it's and maybe for that reason, I mean, not really specifically talking about the drinking part, but maybe perhaps some of the heart has been sacrificed, because if everybody's showing up on their own bus with their own lawyer, with their own entourage, your ability to connect with your bandmates, you have all these walls around you. It's just shut down.
Right.
And that's happened with a lot of bands because the brand becomes much bigger.
Yeah. It's
then maybe perhaps you should let it.
I wonder if this the kids in their 20s now that are in these big rock bands or whatever are just doing what the guys did in the 80s, or are they just more aware of what's at stake?
Some of them are, though.
I'm sure some. I mean, I know they were drinking probably, but the 80s was a different fucking thing. I'm glad I grew up when I did. I'm glad I was too young in the 80s to I've never done cocaine in my life, and I'm so happy for it. Like but I just know myself. If I was born in like the mid '60s instead of the mid '70s, I probably would have been involved in it because it was just everywhere.
It was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know.
Yeah.
It was like it was just fucking candy.
That's just what you did.
Yeah.
You know.
It wasn't even taboo. It was out in the open.
There's an interesting thing happening in LA right now. It might be sort of on the downturn right now at this point, but it kind of started around 2019. I saw it in 2020. When I was out there, and it was bands. And, okay, do you remember that movie that Motley Crue made? It was called Dirt or something?
Yeah.
Well, that inspired a lot of folks that were in their late 20s and 30s to do what Motley Crue did. Not necessarily playing in the genre, of course they did, but also we want to do sleaze. We want to go ahead and drink and act obnoxious.
Right.
And here's the thing. It's like West Hollywood is not what the fuck it was in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the rents, the neighborhood, this is not it, right? So it's interesting to try to transplant that kind of ego back into something where it no longer exists. It's basically like me going down to the Lower East Side and doing coke and trying to play Ramones stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's CBGB's is gone, man.
Right.
Too bad it's gone. Yeah. Right? But the Viper Room is still there. It's probably gonna be there forever. Let's hope.
Yeah.
Cool place, and whiskey is still there.
I've never been out to LA.
Hey,
I drove through it once.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah.
So don't get chicken. Because
let me write that down. Don't get chicken.
My only advice: get beef or fish, because I got chicken there once, and it wasn't crazy, like a chicken wrap, and it wasn't done.
You sick?
Yeah, it was crazy.
They probably cook it mid-rare out there. They're fucking weird.
Let's try something progressive. Let's get
chicken sushi.
So it was weird because like I had this stomach bug that lasted for like a month until one day I woke up. And
you think we were eating chicken every day out there?
So like my show was I had two shows. The one of them was like a showcasey thing, and the other one was like a show. So I got there, and the day I got there, that's when I got the chicken sandwich. The day of the show, I'm like, oh shit, my stomach is completely fucked up. And not only that, but I'm convinced the Viper Room is completely haunted. Because you felt that too.
I'm sure.
I show up early to shows, so it's like next to the guy putting the lights on in the place. I'm like right behind him.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to vibe out in there, and I don't have any, special spiritual powers or anything like that. But it's hard to sit there and be still and not be like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
So anyways, it took me a month to go ahead and actually let this thing completely hit. And my wife Claire took me to the emergency room, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm just completely knocked out. And the doctor asks me, he's like, "Hey, so have you traveled out of the country recently?" And truthfully, I'm like, "Well, LA's
it's kind of
they do things differently out there.
They sure do."
So and lo and behold, everything kind of pointed to that being the source.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, so I have stomach issues like you wouldn't believe. I was actually in the hospital last week for it, and we can't get to the bottom of it yet. So I have some like breath tests coming up.
Oh damn! Hang tough,
man. I cut
out
gluten. I cut out dairy. I should probably cut out alcohol. Actually, I did last week. I didn't even drink last week. I was just like.
Did you get an endoscopy?
Yeah, I had that. I had the colonoscopy and endoscopy about 2 months ago.
It's good for us dudes to talk about that stuff.
Yes. Men's health is very important. My grandfather died of colon cancer. Never met him.
Wow.
And he was very late to be detected, so he didn't have a chance back in the the 70s, early 70s. But yeah, I Mike Ditka.
Yeah, of course,
obviously.
Yeah.
I remember. It always stuck out to me. He was on Mike and the Mad Dog one day, the sports radio show that was. Out of New York. And they had him on. He was doing some book tour thing. And it was all about men's health. And, I don't know what the exact number was, but it was like well over 70% of men just don't do the necessary pre-screening stuff they need to do. Whether it's a colonoscopy or even an endoscopy or whatever. Like, they just think they're, invincible. And you're not. And I was cleared for 7 years with my colonoscopy, and they cut out a little polyp. Everything was non-cancerous, so knock on wood there.
Which is standard.
Yeah.
So you're in like the green. You're good.
Yeah, he's like, come back in 7 years. We'll do another one. I'm
cool.
like, okay, cool. But there's a lot of things you can do, for pre-screening of a lot of stuff, and I think that's what happens with men is they're too macho or they're just too inconvenienced, and I've been there myself.
We could be dudes.
Yeah,
Like we leave the dishes around longer than they need to be.
But yeah, actually, what you said that it'd be a great topic for a whole show is just talk about men's health.
Absolutely. And bringing that to some sponsors and saying this is a thing.
Right.
It's okay if people are uncomfortable about it. That's okay.
I'll get my doctor on. Fuck it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You could save a life.
Yeah.
Literally.
Right.
Isn't that amazing that you
really
can actually do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. So let's change gears a little bit. But before we do, I know you're a big beer guy.
I love it.
You're always trying. I mean, we're not we don't have too many fancy stuff at Stonebridge, but we got the locals. But
love Stonebridge.
What are some of your favorite breweries locally in New England or nationally? Like, what's your I gotta have that beer if this bar has it. What is it? Are you You're an IPA guy,
I like
right?
IPAs. Yeah, I do. Do like sours as well. Thankfully, my wife is equally into enjoying really good beers too. We were up in Boston this past weekend, and we went to Democracy Brewing, which
where's that?
That is across on a side street from Boston Common.
Okay.
So a little further in North Boston there. Incredible place.
Yeah.
It's just everything we had was really great. Did the flights and then we really just kind of enjoyed.
Did they have a conservative and a liberal beer?
Oh my God. That'd be so nice. Right? Oh, what a way to break down the wall.
Right?
Oh, Jesus. That'd be great. A red beer and a blue beer.
Yeah, right.
Jeremy, you have the answer right there.
Yeah.
That might be it.
Democracy Brewing.
My God, absolutely. Just bring people together.
And then they can have a Trump one that's called The End of Democracy.
Yeah, oh my God. If you want to play
or Threat to Democracy. Sorry, Threat to Democracy.
Sounds like a movie with Seagal.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal is.
Yeah. Remember, all his movies were 3 words.
Yeah.
Above the law, whatever.
Put his name is in between the titles, and they work perfectly.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal is above the law. Steven Seagal is marked for death.
Yeah. God, those were some good movies growing up. Oh my God. Films, Seagal was the best. He got a little wacky, though, too. So, Democracy Brewing, locally, are you a fan of...
I love it. Tribus.
I think Tribus is... those guys are awesome.
Totally. Two Roads is fantastic, too. We had a couple of smaller ones that were around for a little while. It seemed like maybe that kind of died out a little bit.
Yeah. I think the survival of these places, you have to have a beer garden.
Yeah.
If you're going to be smaller, you just have to. You have to generate your money through selling it retail.
Yeah.
Not wholesale.
No, that's true.
And I think that's why a lot of these guys went away.
Yeah, Labyrinth just closed, and that was upstate. And they were really good. I really like them. So for Milford, I'm proud to say that we have Tribus here. They make such great stuff, and what a great vibe. And just
you ever been to Witchcraft?
I haven't been to Witchcraft.
Yeah, so this is I had the guitarist from Hatebreed on.
Cool.
Yeah, he was one of my first big catches.
Cool.
So we autographed a bunch of cans. I drove up there and picked up a case, and it's actually I'm not a huge beer guy, but they're still around. I'm pretty sure, right? They had a big thing going. They had they actually did have a beer garden. This was right around COVID too, so we kind of had to.
Yeah, see, that's the bitch of it right there. Because 2020, I mean, it's unfortunate that some of these places took such a hit that they weren't able to recover.
Right.
And that's a shame. But if they love it, hopefully they'll find their way back to it somehow.
I mean, Tribus was pretty new when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a year or two at that point.
It's so wacky to think just 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Brewport as well. I gotta mention Brewport.
Yeah.
Love Brewport.
And you get the good pizza with the beer.
Yeah.
Perfect combo there.
Yeah. Jeff Browning is grade A stellar brewmeister.
And you go right to a nice show.
Yeah. Right.
Over at one of the 2 arenas there.
Yeah. Incredible place.
I think Tribus is probably my heart is with Tribus and Matt and those guys. I worked with Matt for years at Stonebridge. He was our sous chef before he went off to brew school.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if he invented Sea Hag, but he was one of the head brewers for Sea Hag at New England.
Another amazing brewery. Yeah.
And then him and the 2 other guys formed Tribus.
Do you remember Castle Republic in New Haven?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Is that not there anymore?
No, sadly it's not.
That place was huge, though. I can't imagine what the rent was there.
Oh, right? And it
took you a half hour to walk back to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was long as hell.
And I'd stop and look at all the wine and
yeah, right, because they had all this really cool shit.
Yeah.
So that's what got my wife and I into craft beers. That was on the recommendation of a friend that we should go, and we went there, and they had Maine lunch on tap.
Yeah, and we have that at Stonebridge now. Just so you know,
incredible.
Yeah.
I'll
inside
be there
bar, inside
this
bar.
weekend for sure.
Yeah,
hell, I might even go later. So,
well, it's your birthday, pre-birthday.
I mean, why not, right?
Girls get a month. You at least get a couple days, right?
Yeah, I gotta have a couple.
Yeah,
days.
absolutely.
Come on, give a man a hand. So it's so we had that, and it was like, what the hell is this? And how do we get more of it? Up to that point, so this had to have been like 2015, I'm guessing. I was strictly into German and Belgian beers. So
was that a phase of your life?
It was like 2 years. I got a journal.
Yeah,
and I journaled all of this stuff. Yeah, and I was like, these Europeans just know their shit, and they do. So when it comes to like the Dunkels, when it comes to the Heffies and the whip beers, that's the spot. Or the Saisons even, they're just really great. But this whole movement, like an American craft beer, we've got an identity.
Yeah.
We could actually hang with the big guys right now because what we have and what we're putting out is pretty serious shit.
Right. Well, they're getting the ingredients, the good ingredients they need too.
Yeah, people care.
Yeah,
it's a craft.
Actually, a lot of the equipment is coming from overseas too, like that they all use over there.
Cool.
A lot of these guys are getting it from Europe and Germany and
nice.
All the stuff.
Yeah, didn't Dan Zeke? You know Dan?
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah, who doesn't know Dan?
Yeah,
right? I mean, he's like Kevin Bacon.
I think he's in Thailand 90% of the year, but yeah,
good for that guy, man. Yeah, I see the pictures and I'm
every
like,
time he's
awesome.
fucking eating pad thai or something, and
nice.
He must have a wife over there he hasn't told us about yet.
Yeah. God bless, right?
Yeah.
So I saw that he did like a beer trail some time ago when he was working with one of the local brewers. He went out there and it was like that's it.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing here. You're gonna go ahead and see what the masters did back then. Somehow put this together in whatever which way.
Yeah.
Bam. Here we are.
Yeah. No, Dan's. I remember him. Well, I met him a while back, but I remember he was Two Roads and
Two Roads. Yeah.
And now I don't know if he was working for a distributor. Last I saw him a couple years ago, he was at the casino. I'm not sure if I think it was with maybe Breskin Barton or something. I think he was
talented guy.
And in the beer division of it. Yeah, the guy knows his stuff. And actually, a little shout out to Dan. He does a food. He has a YouTube channel where he does these food reviews, and a lot of them happen to be in Thailand because the fucking guy's always there.
Nice.
But I got to get to Thailand. I think your dollar stretches pretty well out there.
I was just gonna say, big time.
Yeah.
Show up with $10, you'll be all right.
I mean, you're married, you should probably sit that one out. But if you're single, I'd go to Thailand.
Oh my god, the lawlessness of Thailand.
What's one more music question? What's one of the craziest, coolest places you ever played, like outside of the Viper Room? I would say that probably was a pretty sick place to play.
Yeah, it's the Viper Room. If I could draw a comparison, is not that different looking inside than Daniel Street.
Really, it's just the same kind of setup.
It's a similar setup. The stage isn't like massive.
Is it bigger?
It might be a little bit smaller.
Really?
Wild to think, right?
Yeah.
And here's the big difference between, I'm going to share it with you, between LA and anything on the East Coast, right? So now imagine Daniel Street, right? You got your stage, you have your bar, right? Then you have your booths that kind of go along the side, right?
Yeah.
Now the Viper Room has booths, but what reminds you that you're in LA is that there's a little placard on each booth that says $2,000 reservation, $3,000 reservation, right? Yeah. So if you want to sit in these booths and hang out, hey, you got to drop some dough,
right? I mean, all the stars go there, right? They have their own private tables.
I suppose so. What's wacky about it though is that everybody is so close together that you could be in your booth, but you're like an arm's length away from like the next person standing next to you. Yeah. So it's totally just like a weird LA thing, I guess. Yeah. People if they have the money, maybe they just like to spend it. You know.
Yeah. It's insane. I had a buddy who was just in Montauk, and it was like $50,000 cover charge to get in because 50 Cent was there.
That's a lot.
That's just to get in.
I get the 50 part.
Yeah. Yeah. $50 to see 50.
Added a couple zeros.
50. Like I'm like, what? There's just some really dumb money out there.
Money. I like that.
Yeah, just people just fucking don't care.
Good one.
And they spend it. I'm like, $50,000 I'm putting down on a house. I ain't spending it on fucking to see 50 Cent.
No, not one bit.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up, this second part, a little quicker, because that was a great conversation, Mark. That was awesome. I love. No, it's fine. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. So they did a prisoner swap today.
Okay.
It was the Wall Street Journal reporter. This is Russia and the United States. It was the Wall Street Journal reporter and then another guy, I forget who it was, that was supposed to be in like the Brittany Griner deal a year ago or whatever.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I don't really have too much to say on it, but what I do know is that we haven't released on what we swapped. And so we don't know if it was, another fucking wacky arms dealer. We don't know if it was some terrorist. We don't know. The White House is not reporting on who we swapped to get these two people back. I'm glad they're home, but I feel like this is the problem. Like this, we become such a weak country because we literally gave the butcher of back. Well,
I remember that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like for a basketball player. Like now the world knows. Like, all right, if we capture some, hold hostage some higher ups over in America, we're gonna get our guys back. And so it's free game. Like, I would not recommend going to Russia right now.
No. It's unfortunate though.
It is. It's from beautiful area, Moscow and all that. But I'd stay away.
Yes.
Yeah. I would stay away.
Definitely.
And this one really got to me today. There's a lot of news today. So I'm going to get you caught up here with me.
Please. Yeah, I was telling Jeremy before we started that I did not watch or listen to any news, maybe more than just today. So these will be genuine reactions.
Okay, perfect. The three guys that are in Guantanamo Bay that were the masterminds of 9/11 have, the U.S. has come to a plea deal with them, so they will not face the death penalty. Now, these three are responsible for 3,000 deaths on 9/11 and probably 1 million more due to the wars that it caused. They've been on trial since 2003.
Jeez.
21 fucking years. What are we doing here? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, we can fucking bring Trump to trial and fucking get him convicted in less than fucking 4 months. And these guys have been on trial for 21 years. We've fed them. We've housed them. And now we're going to continue to do so. Like, I'm not here or there on a death penalty, but I'm sorry. You're the mastermind of 9/11. I don't think we need to pay for you to live. I
see that point of view.
What took so long? Like, why are these guys sitting here for 21 years?
There might be a lot of stuff we don't know.
Right. Like the police in the George Floyd trial. They're boom, gone. See ya. You're going to prison. These three are fucking still running the system.
Yeah.
I thought Obama got rid of fucking Guantanamo Bay.
I thought so too. Actually, I thought that was one of his things.
Apparently, I guess not.
But these guys are kind of hanging around.
Yeah, hanging around.
So they're getting released. You said?
No, they're not getting released. Okay. They're just not getting the death penalty. So so taxpayers get to pay for them to live the rest of their lives out in prison. No, they're not getting out. But they were going to be put to death, and they reached. What's the plea deal? What were they going to admit to? What are they going to admit to? Like what?
Man, I have no idea.
I just did like a whole 9/11 fucking thing a month ago.
Yeah.
And this just infuriated me when I read it today. Like, what is really going on here? What is really going on?
That's a great question. What's going on there?
Like, I don't understand it. It is what it is, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you're asking the right question. If it doesn't make sense, then there's likely some missing information.
I thought like Bush in, right after 9/11, think about all the laws that were passed that are intrusive on our lives because of 9/11. The Homeland Security was developed. Basically, we got to. What one guy say? We got to take off our shoes and do a dance just to get on an airplane.
God, yeah, right.
There's a laundry list of shit. They basically spy on us.
I can't imagine the world otherwise now without getting checked in the airport like we do.
Yeah.
And to think that, all right, you just show up and there we go.
Yeah. With a cigarette in our mouth.
Yeah. That happened.
Yeah, that was the thing.
That was the thing. Man.
Actually, we used to be able. So my parents were divorced. So I lived when I was really young. So I lived in Pennsylvania for a while. So I used to take this little puddle jumper back and forth to Massachusetts to see my father.
Cool.
And you used to be able to walk your friend, your wife, your kid, whatever, all the way to the gate.
Like, you used to be able to walk either like to the gate and say goodbye.
Wow.
Or meet them at the gate as they get off. Now you got to wait on the other side of security.
Yeah.
But anyway, wasn't the big thing we don't negotiate with terrorists? Whatever happened to that?
Who said that?
That was Bush. That was Bush.
Yeah, that was Bush that said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
Well, I just don't understand. What are we plea dealing here?
I'm not defending anybody by saying, I suppose, never say never.
Yeah, I think this is just a lot of political moves in Biden's last 5 months or whatever he's got left. And
There's a lot going on we don't know.
A lot going on we don't know.
Yeah, it seems, yeah. I try not to think of it too much. I have a couple of friends that really spend a lot of time thinking about it, and you could tell the weight of the world is on their shoulders every time you see them.
Yeah.
So
no, there is definitely some I don't want to call it ignorance, but there is bliss in some ignorance.
No, of course, yeah.
You know, I wish I didn't read some of the shit I do. I'd probably just go on with my life a little easier.
You have a family and kids?
I have my girlfriend and her son. So yeah. So I got that, and
you have an investment.
I worry about him.
In other words,
you know, I worry about him more than anything else, really, because he's 14. He's going to be a freshman at Platt. He's going to be playing football, and I just worry about everyone his age. Our kids just growing up now.
Well, he's got you.
Yeah, but I can't always watch him. I don't know what the fuck he's watching on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, that does change things a little bit, right? Yeah. The TikTok.
I mean, when you and I were growing up, we'd actually have to call the girl's house, talk to the mom, to talk to the girl we wanted to go out on a date with.
I really didn't like talking to the father.
That was tough.
Yeah, it was really tough. Oh, man.
My high school girlfriend, her father was a fucking mean old man.
Was he?
Yeah, I tend to fucking soften everybody up, but he was rough in the beginning.
Yeah, sir goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Be respectful. That's what they want to hear. All right, so I've been on this topic since I started this podcast almost 3.5 years ago, and it really came to a head today in the Olympics. There was a women's boxing. There was an Italian boxer, Angela Carini. She's obviously a women's Italian boxer, and she was going up against Amani Khalif. I'm probably botching that name. Amani Khalif was suspended from boxing last year in the World Championships because she tested too high on testosterone. So this person is a man. Okay. And they had a match today, or late last night. I think it kind of made the mainstream earlier today. And she punched her so hard that she gave up. The Angela, the Italian boxer, she gave up. Threw in the towel 46 seconds into the fight.
Oh, geez.
She said, I've never been hit that hard ever before.
Wow.
I've trained my whole life for this.
46 seconds?
46 seconds.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's like the fight literally started, you get hit a couple times.
Yeah.
At most.
And she fucking said, she feared for her life. And she refused to shake hands with the person. I don't blame her. And it has started, by the way, it's my douche of the week. This has started a firestorm on the internet. It's really insane. And I have been on trans or men in women's sports since day one. I have defended women. I don't know where the women's rights activists are in this. They seem to cower when these topics come up. I think it's just the most commonsensical thing that if you are a man and you cannot compete at a level that is competitive with other men, and you need to become a woman to compete with women in a sport of boxing, there is such mental health questions here. And how it is allowed at the Olympic level is a mockery to women's sports, in my opinion, and should never be allowed. It shouldn't even, I don't understand why it's even a fucking thing. And the outpouring for this lady is unbelievable, though. Like, literally, like
the Italian or
the Italian, okay. the actual woman who got beat.
Okay.
I think
who threw in the towel.
The girl that threw in the towel, because she got punched. Her nose almost got broken. She got punched in the face twice, and she was like, "I've never," she boxes with women, and now she's boxing with a biological male.
Okay.
And she said she'd never gotten hit so hard in her life in the Olympics, and the outpouring on the internet is crazy. Like there's somebody started a GoFundMe page to try to raise money for her if she had won gold. Like
she was derailed by a man to get to her lifelong dream of competing for a gold medal in the Olympics. And
what was the name of the other boxer?
Amani Khalif.
Amani?
Amani.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when I refer to Amani, then I'll say Amani. And with the Italian girl, what's her name?
Her name is Angela Carini.
Angela, Amani versus Angela.
Yes, Amani versus Angela. Cool. Yes, yeah. So, like I said, I've been talking about this topic for a long time. It hits home in Connecticut. There was the famous trans that was competing in track and field in high school and was beating girls, and girls went to the Supreme Court of Connecticut and tried to. I think they won. I think the ban is in Connecticut. I do believe in a lot of inclusivity with everything in the world, but you have to draw a line in something like this. There's UFC, well, not UFC. There are MMA fighters that are biological men in women's brackets that are putting girls in stretchers. Imagine training for the Olympics your whole life. You're a woman, and you get the call. You're the best Italian boxer, women's boxer. You get to the Olympics and your first opponent is a biological male and pummels the fuck out of you.
Ideally, it'd be nice if she beat the shit out of.
That would have been awesome, but this isn't, Billie Jean King versus whatever that guy was back in the day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Good reference.
So this is, I don't know. This person, I do douche of the week. This is on a multi-level. It's not just this person that is the boxer. She was allowed to box. So I can't put it all on her. This goes into the IOC. This goes into the people that govern this shit. How do you let this happen?
Okay, so you want me to respond?
Yeah, if you don't have to. You want to stay out of this topic, feel free.
No, it's does Amani, and I have no answers here, so I have more questions than anything.
Yeah.
I know someone who's trans, and them actually telling me they was, I mean, it didn't bother me either way, and it's just because I care for the individual and which way. So I never really saw or I wasn't looking for a transition. To me, this person was always cool, always will be cool, and that's And I received a letter from her parent after she told me that she is female, and it was a long letter of this person was in an incredible amount of pain and suffering, being in a body they didn't deserve or didn't want. Say, I don't know what it's like to be trans, and I don't know what it's barely like to be anyone else, except compassion goes a long way. In space and compassion. Now, let me pose this question: does Amani, and this, whether it's yes or no is irrelevant almost, but it could lead us down a different path. Does Amani actually think, truthfully, heart and soul, in his or her entirety, however you want to use your pronoun there, that he or she is a woman? Does she actually believe this completely?
Well, I can't get into that person's head.
Okay, right.
So I don't know.
Right.
But
that's the start of it.
Right.
And
no, I agree with that.
How we react to it, and is very individual and very different with organization.
I can say this: that person probably has it in their head that they are female,
completely and totally.
Right.
Just like I believe that Jeremy.
But they also know that they were
right now.
Right.
Okay.
But they also know that they were born a male.
Okay.
And they wanted out of that body, right? They wanted out of that.
Okay.
Okay. You can't tell me that they are competing in a sport where she is a biological male beating up a woman and it's cheered upon in the stands is the fucking wacky world we live in right now.
But does she believe Amani?
I don't buy it. I believe she believes she's a woman.
Yes. Okay. So does Amani also believe then that she is strong enough or at the fit level of a woman wholeheartedly too? In other words, is the intention to I have more power because I'm a man, so I'm going to beat up a woman? Is that there? Or is it ignorance on potential ignorance that I do believe that I should be competing with women because that's really at the level that I'm at? See, the question of intent could change how these laws or guidelines might work.
Right. Well, let's look at Leah Thomas. So Leah Thomas was a male swimmer for the University of Pennsylvania. Okay. He was average at best, never won shit. Transitions in the off season to a woman and starts beating and winning gold medals and was eventually not allowed to go to the Olympics. A person like that, to me, on the outside looking in, says to me they know exactly what they're fucking doing. And in the sport of boxing, like, were you a man transitioning to a woman to become a boxer? A female boxer that is a niche sport?
But even though you and I share a similar common sense because of our background, not everybody shares the same common sense and how they actually view the world themselves and themselves in it. So when we look at this situation, we can't help it to look at it from a conditioned point of view. Same for them. They have a different conditioning because they came up in a different environment with different people. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or they should or shouldn't compete or not compete. That's not even... That's the result. The confusion that happens with them actually doing this is the result of us not having a meeting of the minds. Because nowhere along the way... Now, individuals can. I'll tell you this. I'm lucky. If you want to call it luck, if you want to call it synchronicity, that's great. I like that one. To be able to come across a lot of people that are very different from myself. And the difference isn't, flesh and blood. The difference is conditioned behavior and what would be a developed common sense, right? Morals, I mean, that's also a separate issue that we could talk about, but everybody seems to be living within the realm of relative morals. But if we could figure out a way to have a meeting of the minds here and see what the intent is, to see how we could accommodate somehow. I mean, I know accommodation.
Why not just make a trans division?
That sounds like perhaps that could work. I think that, and I don't follow the news, so I don't know how this came across. But you know what? It came across because I'm supposed to know this piece of information right now. Otherwise, I don't know why I know it. Because again, I barely watch the news anymore. But Caitlyn Jenner, right? That's her name, right? Yeah,
Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, right. So he or she, however you choose to identify.
Make sure you use your pronouns.
A smile goes a long way. I'm a big fan of a smile and
Coke and a smile.
Yeah, okay. So I believe that he was championing a trans league in Jersey. So some of those folks. Well, she is conservative as well. She's on Fox News all the time. I had no idea. She rails against this stuff. Okay, all right, interesting.
And being an Olympic athlete as well.
Perhaps maybe that Caitlyn Jenner could be some sort of conduit between these two completely different parties.
Now, should LeBron James go put on a dress and play against the women?
He has to get a nice big dress because he's a tall guy. He's a big guy. I saw Aaron Judge in person this past weekend.
He's huge. He's a monster.
He is.
Yeah, he's a monster.
It was really cool to see because I saw some really cool. And now I'm a Red Sox fan, but it's not because I don't appreciate the Yankees.
You're beautiful. Red Sox.
Bring it on. Amazing game.
Back to your original question you posed back to me about does the person know?
Yes.
See, this is where I get into the mental health part of this because. As you say, they were born like your friend, right?
Yes.
Was born a male.
Yes.
And was in the wrong body, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now this is going to sound cynical and more comedic than anything else, but I want to be 6'5", chiseled, and fucking play football.
Okay.
You know what I mean? This is the hand I was dealt. This is what I gotta. So when trans people need to change their sexual identity, I'm fine with it. I really am. I could care less. It's when you push it upon other people, and is it? Let's say she thinks she's okay in that ring with that lady, right? Amani is in the ring with Angela today, she's okay, and she thinks she belongs there. She should be there. That to me is where the mental health issue comes in, because if she truly believes that, something's wrong. In my world.
You have a good point on that. And I think that's where the meeting of the minds is, because what we have to do is that, first off, it'd be so fucking cool if everybody dropped every fucking label and just was. Right. That's not going to happen, sadly, anytime soon, because it seems as if there's just more labels on top of labels, because when you look deep inside the person, it's not what you see, it's what you don't see that really matters, and that's really what never goes away. I know that everybody, if I can say it in this term, a lot of folks seem to right now have a boner for really just using lots of labels to describe themselves.
First time boner I think has ever been fucking said on this show.
Put her in the books. But it's I don't see that being a good thing. But that doesn't matter what my opinion is, because it's just an opinion. But the one thing that could change things is maybe, as hard as it could be, because it goes against our conditioned behavior and what we view as our own common sense, which common sense a lot of times is a very personal point of view as well. If we don't judge it, which is so fucking hard to do sometimes, and actually give it the space to work itself out somehow. We might not get the answer in our lifetime. I'm okay with that. If we don't, if we die with more questions than answers, right? Mm-hmm. You and I, that's okay. As long as we could look each other in the eye and maybe give a fuck for a moment, no matter how different we think we are, and actually come to a realization that we're actually not. But you're talking about brass tacks, though. You're talking about, in this boxing match, this person has more power than this person, and whether they identify as whatever, it doesn't matter. This person has more power than this one, therefore they shouldn't be battling it out for whatever reason. That's okay.
Because of genetics.
Okay,
not genetics. Because of training.
Cool.
Well, I'm sure there's some training involved, but
some people are genetically predisposed, male, female, or whatever, to be able to be better at
chromosomes. It's chromosomes.
Okay, could be right. Could be that. I'm giving very general answers because I don't have any.
You and Claire have a daughter, right?
Okay.
If we did,
yes.
And she makes the Olympic team in boxing, and this happens to her. How do you feel?
Well, that's interesting, because I would have to go through an entire lifetime of being a father to go ahead and be able to give you an answer on that. I can't, because I haven't been there.
Hypothetically.
Well, hypothetical is just as good as me writing a story about being a father of a kid I never had.
Oh, you write a song. Might not be believable. Write a song about it.
I've been in love, so I could write those, and thankfully am in deep love. So, but yeah. So back to the writing, and that's exactly why.
This is my lead into your song we're gonna play to finish the show up.
It's gotta be from a place you know.
Yeah, I mean, you just talk so much about common sense though, and that's where I think this would come in. Like, I mean, I didn't, you know, I'm not Braden's father. Been with him for 6 years, since he was 8, and now he's 14. And, you know, it's crazy because you don't see men trying to be. I'm sorry, you don't see women becoming men to compete in men's sports. Like, it only goes one way. Why? Because they classify sports between men and women. And there's a reason why women's golfers are teeing off fucking 40 yards ahead of a male golfer. There's reasons in a lot of sports why they're categorized as men versus women. And
our system isn't set up to accommodate the current demands of what's happening, right?
Right.
That is probably a good way to get the conversation started.
Right. But I don't even think there's enough trans athletes to start a division. It is such a.
You might be right about
it. It is such a small percentage of athletes in the world. You know, like, we're handpicking them. You know, like the swimmer, and Riley Gaines from Kentucky was against the swimmer Leah Thomas, and the track and field people. And now there's some MMA fighters, and there's this boxer. I don't even think they have. I mean, if they made one, would more people compete? But again, how do you...
Maybe. Actually,
are you still going to test for testosterone? Is there still going to be... I mean, is it... Is there two divisions in this? Is there a men's trans league and a women's trans league?
You have amazing questions. You really, really do. That would... Quite literally, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I was asking that. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I care for you in that... My God, go sleep at night.
First of all, you know why I think about this shit?
Yeah,
because I can't sleep.
Well, okay, so
no, it's not because of this.
So it's
vice versa.
Vice versa. Okay.
Because I can't sleep is why I fucking think of this. Yeah.
I saw a special on a guy that became.
That sucks, but whatever.
You ever tried melatonin or anything like that?
I've tried it all. Actually, I do. I'm prescribed one. The problem is like, if I really need to sleep, I'll take a whole one. But there's like a fucking hangover involved with it.
I've had that before.
It sucks.
There was a guy I saw on a documentary or a special somewhere that had severe insomnia, and what he decided to do is to paint paintings on the head of a pin.
Oh.
And he would recreate like Van Gogh and Monet pieces.
On just the top of a little pin.
On the top of a pin.
Oh, fuck, you do that?
That was his talent somehow along the way. He's like, I can't sleep. What am I going to do?
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and recreate Starry Night on the head of a pin.
I can't sleep worrying about transit sports.
No. It's, maybe you could use.
I gotta find. Well, you know what? This whole show was because I couldn't sleep.
Okay.
I was just tossing and turning in bed. It was during COVID. I wasn't working. The restaurant was shut down, and I'm like, you know what? We'd been drinking a lot because what else was there to do in those 6 to 8 weeks we were shut down? And
I actually had some fun.
I'm like,
thankfully nobody was affected very negatively.
Yes, there is a small part of me that misses it.
Well, yeah, it's like the world is shut down.
Like the roads were clear. Yeah. I would literally go and I'd buy a 6-pack of something, and I would just drive the beach from Milford to West Haven. Not a cop in sight, no one bothering me. Just go with my thoughts. So whatever. So I started the show, and
you do a special thing with the show, and you have a very special base here in Milford.
Yeah.
And whenever I refer to your name on this show, that was to the listeners listening, just to let you know.
Yeah.
So it's not like I didn't know you were here. Like, hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
But I think that everybody that's listening right now, we should all throw a nice, big, huge party and celebrate Jeremy's show and do something cool.
What we'll do? This is what we'll do. We'll do a four-year anniversary show at Tribus in January.
My God, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Just like...
I'll talk to Matt and we'll...
Set your Uber appointments.
I'll invite all my former guests, and whoever can make it.
Just have a rocking time.
We're just going to fucking enjoy it.
Absolutely. That sounds like just... What a great idea.
You know what? Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
I love that idea. The 4-year anniversary.
We got a lot of people around here that really love you, man. And this is this is really an opportunity for us all to come together.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. You're a great conversationalist.
Hey, thanks, man.
Your music
thanks for
knowledge
having me on.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
You for taking my pitch.
So we're going to end the show playing Gasoline Fire.
Thanks.
This was released how long ago?
This one was...
Oh, this was 2019.
Yeah, so this one's a little older.
Okay. I like this one. Had a little more... I'm just going to read the first lyrics before I play it. And...
So I don't have any typos.
No, it says, crashing down on a river breaking stones, 6 feet buried deep but not alone. Breathing out, sending chills right through your bones. Said my prayers for these sins I can't atone. I'm a gasoline fire, not much that you can do. I'm a gasoline fire, and baby, I burn for you.
Wow.
That's pretty deep.
Thanks.
I like that.
Wow. That was, yeah. Well, yeah, it felt right. It felt whatever
at the time.
Was.
Yeah.
Well, I think it feels right now too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit of where that came from, or it's just something personal?
No, it's. Well, I mean, what is it? What does that mean? It's it's a strong desire, right?
Yeah.
It's something that seems to be indestructible, So within that, there is this burning desire for, I don't know, was it recognition? Is it love? That could be up to you. I think within the song, maybe verse 2 maybe takes it to the other place, but either way, it's that. It's just desire and wanting to be noticed, I suppose, by either a love or by whomever.
By the way, the graphic art on that is awesome.
Mike Parker,
yeah.
Milfordite.
Is he?
Yes,
yeah.
Went to foreign high school with Mike Parker.
Oh, nice.
And he is into animation. And he does a great job. His company is called Lowbrow Studios.
Okay. It rings a bell.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it, because we're all kind of connected somehow.
Yeah.
Milford's the point, and then we all are connected to it. But
isn't it amazing how much talent is in this town?
It's remarkable. It really is. And
I'm not from here, and I'm just astounded by it.
Yeah, and any opportunity to work with anybody from Milford is just a joy. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're going to end the show on the song, and we'll hang out for a little bit. I know we got stuff to do. So this is Gasoline Fire by Mark C. Daniel. I like that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mark.
Hey, that was good, man. What does the coach of the Italian boxer say?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
This happened today?
Yeah, well, I think it was late last night.
Yeah, so might as well be today then, yeah.
Yeah, because they're so far ahead of us.
That's heavy shit, man.
Yeah.
No, that's going to bring up all kinds of stuff. Did you think that